Cha 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 Igbo kwenu. Cha 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 Igbo kwezwenu. Omuaka na-akpọ Chief Gaius Chibueze, aka Bitcoin Chief, aka Akoma na-edozi obodo. I'm in Enugu State. I happen to be a proud Igbo man. Abumoye through ihe gbasara Ndiigbo n'aya. This is a very wonderful event. I've spoken at different events concerning Ndiigbo in different countries. In London, in Malaysia, in China, in Dubai, even here in the US, in New York and other places, and in Miami, where I happen to live 50% of the time. But there's something significant about this event. The reason why I love this event is not just because it was put together by one of the most prestigious and respected Igbo organization in the world, called World Igbo Congress. But it's also because of the mindset of the organizers of this event. So please, I want us to put our hands together for the World Igbo Congress team. Tata, I came prepared to talk on a topic which is the role of the Igbo diaspora youth in the rebuilding of Ndiigbo. I put down a few things here, but I'm going to be talking mostly from my heart because I have spent a lot of time in Ndiigbo. I still spend a lot of time there. This month, we're already 8 months gone. This year, we're already 8 months gone, but I have spent 6 of these 8 months in Ndiigbo. And I understand most of our opportunities and challenges better than some other people out there. So I'm going to be talking on the topic, the role of the Igbo diaspora youth. So first, I want to start by thanking everyone, our fathers, the respected members of the World Igbo Congress, my fellow brothers and sisters here in Boston and across the world, wherever you're watching this. Ekele Munu. I am the chairman and founder of Eastside Ventures. You're going to see more about Eastside Ventures and what we do. 11 years ago, I founded Voice of the East, the famous Igbo media company promoting Igbo excellence and celebrating the Igbo story across the world. I am the chief promoter of what I used to call economic Biafra. Now I have changed it to MAIGA, M-A-I-G-A, Make Ndiigbo Great Again. But when we say make Ndiigbo great again, many people ask, was Ndiigbo ever great? I get this question every time, because unfortunately some of us were not born when Ndiigbo used to be the fastest growing region in the world. Under Dr. Michael Okpara, Ndiigbo used to be the fastest growing region in the world under Dr. Michael Ihanuka Okpara. For those who don't know this part of our history, the old Eastern region used to be the fastest growing region ahead of Malaysia and Singapore. Most people will not believe that story, but I'm sure some of our fathers here witnessed that period. Malaysia, that most of us know today as one of the top 3 exporters of agro palm oil and its other products, they came down to Ndiigbo to learn more about palm oil from the M.I. Okpara administration and Ndiigbo. They came to learn the magic M.I. Okpara was doing with agro palm and agriculture. This is how great we used to be. And this is why I started the movement called MAIGA, make Ndiigbo great again. For so many years, I have personally argued that while Ndiigbo wait for a geographical Biafra, that we should focus on something called economic Biafra, just like the Catalonians of Spain are doing. You can research more about the Catalonians of Spain. The Catalonians of Spain, just like Ndiigbo, are marginalized. They have been marginalized for centuries by the country of Spain, just like Ndiigbo are marginalized in Nigeria. But this ethnic group, they did something smarter, which Ndiigbo haven't done. I would like to show us, I would like to read out I would like to go to Google and read out some things you need to know about this country or this region called Catalonia under Spain. Many of us here are football fans. We know Barcelona. We know the club called Barcelona. We know the city called Barcelona. Barcelona is the capital and largest city in Spain. Barcelona is an essential center for commerce, industry, culture, with roots dating back to Roman times, just like Ndiigbo are known for business. When you want to talk about anything that has to do with commerce and trade in the whole of Africa, it is actually Ndiigbo that you must talk about first. When we talk about manufacturing and industry, Catalonia is an industrial stronghold, with its manufacturing base being a key economic engine for Spain, just like Ndiigbo, just like the southeast region is to Nigeria. When we talk about the GDP contribution of Catalonia, Catalonia's economy is a major contributor to Spain's overall GDP. I need you to research these things. I'm reading it from Google, so this is public information. Exports. The region's exports are substantial, making up more than a quarter of Spain's total exports. Foreign investments. Catalonia accounts for over a quarter of the inward investment received by Spain. Then we talk about manufacturing, services, and tourism. I will go back to what we are discussing. While the Catalonians were asking for secession from Spain, while they were saying that they want to leave Spain, they want to form their own country called Catalonia, with Barcelona as their own Abuja or capital. While they were doing that, with one hand, they were aggressively developing their own part of the country with the other hand. Unlike Ndiigbo, their counterpart in Africa, Ndiigbo, on the other hand, are doing the opposite. It is shameful that 80% of Igbo investments are outside the southeast, while our people are crying every day. Every Eke market day, our people are crying. They want their own country. This is like the proverbial case of a tenant waiting for his rent to expire so he can move out of his landlord's house. Then this same tenant at the same time is busy building all his precious investments on the landlord's land. Do you think such a tenant will ever leave his landlord's house? Let's be honest. Think about it. This person is a tenant. He's on a rented land. He's saying, one day I'm going to move from this your house. He's telling the landlord, I am going to move out. I will show you that I can stay on my own. But this landlord, this tenant is constructing a 5-story building behind the landlord's rented land. This is the story of Ndiigbo. The majority of you seated here today, our fathers and the members of World Igbo Congress, majority of you are sympathizers of the Biafran journey out of Nigeria. But today, I have come to burst your bubble. The bubble I want to burst for you is that this may never happen. sorry, we may never see Biafra. And I will tell you why. The last reason is in what I want to tell you now, why we might never see Biafra, is Nigeria. I mean the last. There are 10 reasons, but the last reason is Nigeria. And you will come to know why. Even though we might see Biafra, but it might not be in, I'm talking about my own lifetime, I'm 37 years old. It might not be in my own lifetime, and it might not be in the lifetime of my 2 sons, Ikemba and Ohamadike. And the reason is not far-fetched. This is because the Igbo elites back home are like the foolish tenants who wants to move out, but every day keeps building new expensive structures on rented land while ignoring the land he owns. I will shock you, my fathers, my mothers, my brothers, and my sisters. I will shock you today that if the federal government of Nigeria calls today and say, okay, these Igbo people, we are tired of them. Let's have a referendum to see if they really want to go. I want to shock you that if this referendum is called today for Ndiigbo to leave, guess what? Such a referendum is going to fail. And I will tell you why it's going to fail. Because the Igbo elites will scuttle it to protect their investment. Where are these their investments? Abuja and Lagos. The reasons why the Igbo elites are going to do everything possible to make sure that this referendum never succeeds is because of where they have planted their investments. Did you notice something? Whenever there is something affecting Ndiigbo, as important as the aftermath of the 2023 elections, where our people were being flogged, chased, you will never see most of these Igbo elites put their mouth, even come out with public statement and say, why are you doing this to my people? You see us show all the Ngabasi online, show our wealth and everything, but when something concerns our people, those same people that are like people we look up to, they will never come out and say anything. The reason is because of this same reason I have given you why even a referendum right now is going to fail. If Nigeria calls for a referendum today, the Igbo elites will come inside us and work against it. The reason why they work against it is because you already know. So, the majority of us, when I speak to Ndiigbo anywhere I go to, our people listen, especially those of you in the diaspora. But majority of us seated here today are all enablers of this same mistake our people have made. Majority of you here that God has blessed with resources are the same people pumping your hard-earned money into Abuja and Lagos real estate, making it almost impossible for the average Nigerian to afford a house now in Abuja. The Igbo diaspora, I will shock you with something I'm going to tell you. A few weeks ago, one of our brothers, who is one of the biggest real estate developers in Lagos, he was in London, he was in Houston. He's doing a global investment tour. To shock you, 80% of the people who sat in that his event in London, in Houston, and other places he did it, 80% of the people in the audience were Ndiigbo. This person is very influential. You probably know the person. People follow him. People listen to him. 80% of the audience, I was not there. Though you can't find me in those kind of events. People sent me pictures. They say, see what you have been talking about. 80% of the people in the audience, it was so obvious that they were speaking Igbo 30% of the time at the event. But guess what? The properties he was showing to them as investment opportunities in Nigeria were all in Abuja and Lagos. No single one in the whole of Southeast. even in Abia State that is working right now. No single investment that he showed our people in London, in Houston, in these other places he went to. The people who made up 80% of his audience, he didn't show them any single investment from their region. Are these the same successful Igbo elites who will allow or support a referendum? Please be very honest. Will this person support a referendum? Well, you already have the answer to your question. So, Ndiigbo must accept and acknowledge the role we have played in our own pain and destruction. We must, all of us, as we are sitting down here, we have contributed in one way or the other to our own pain and destruction. I stand here today not only as an entrepreneur and investor, but also as your brother and your son. A proud Igbo son from Enugu State, born and raised in the same soil that gave us spirit of resilience, creativity, and relentless drive. What we are doing here today is to have a family conversation, a serious one, about the Igbo diaspora youth in rebuilding Ali Igbo. How many young persons are here? I'm going to talk about this later. Before I continue, I would love to bring to your attention some of the challenges back home. Remember, I told you I spent 6 months out of the 12 months of this year. I have spent out of the 8 months already we are in. I spent 6 of that in Enugu State. I spent it traveling from Owerri to Abia to everywhere. If you follow me across social media, you must have seen me in all the states, to Ebonyi State, and even to neighboring Igbo states like Delta. So today I have come and I said, let's have a discussion as a family. So I want to bring your attention to some of the challenges back home. And I'm not here to sweet talk you. Some people will come and tell you it's like this. It's looking like black and white, but it's not too white. I am here to tell you the real truth and nothing but the truth. And I want to tell you in the language that you understand. Nsobudi. Our homeland is in crisis. And some of this crisis is self-inflicted. We are going to talk about this. In case you don't know yet, security concerns have driven away talent and investment from Igbo land. Most villages in Ali Igbo today are empty with no one living inside. Radicalized armed youth have run everyone, including elders, out of town. In Ali Igbo today, we see 10-year-olds. Many of you probably see it on social media. We see 10-year-olds carrying AK-47 guns. These 10-year-olds have succeeded in chasing out the elders and women out of their ancestral home. But guess what? Guess what? And this is, yes, many of you will not be happy. The reason why you will not be happy is that many of us, I will say us, seated here today, Igbo diasporans, many of us have been fingered for sympathizing with these radicalized young people who have turned some parts of Ali Igbo into Afghanistan. And I will come to why people say that. I will show you proof. I posted 8 minutes to when I came on stage. I posted on my Twitter, now X. I said, I'm going on stage to talk about this. One of the things people commented there, now if you're following me on Twitter, go and look at it. One of the things people commented is tell them, I said, I'm talking to Igbos in diaspora. He said, tell them to stop funding so and so, destroying our land. So this my talk today might not be sweet, but it's time for self-reflection as a people. People have fingered the Igbo diaspora for sympathizing with these radicalized young people who have turned some parts of Ali Igbo into Afghanistan. If you have ever sent money home to support any secessionist group, I want to inform you that sadly, the blood of our people, many of whom have been killed by these radicalized, homegrown terrorists, is on your head too, sadly. Stop sending money to anyone who promises they will give you Biafra. These people are leveraging your pain for their personal gains. The Igbo diaspora have been fingered consistently by spectators as part of the sponsors of what has befallen Ndiigbo. So I want to tell you, wake up and smell the coffee. Wake up and smell the coffee, Ndiigbo. For years, external forces tried to destroy us, but they couldn't. But now they have succeeded in using some of us to destroy ourselves. They have succeeded in using some of us to destroy ourselves internally while they watch for their entertainment as we self-destruct. These people you have been trying to destroy for so many years, fought them, they fought you back, and they said it was no victor, no vanquish. Was it no victor, no vanquish, whatever they called it. Now you finally see these people destroying themselves. Definitely, you're going to fold back your hands and have an entertainment. This is what is currently happening from Ndiigbo. So we must all rise up, raise our voice, and speak against insecurity in Ndiigbo. And it begins with you sitting down here today, the Igbo diaspora. It begins with you not sending $10 to anybody on social media who are promising you that they are going to bring Biafra. The next problem outside insecurity in Ndiigbo today is infrastructure. Infrastructure in Ndiigbo has decayed. So many years after M.I. Okpara was no longer the premier of the old Eastern region, but some of the reasonable projects you will see in Ndiigbo today are projects he initiated in the 1960s. So in today Ndiigbo, we have bad roads. In today Ndiigbo, we have inconsistent power and many other infrastructural decays, which is setting our people up for failure. And I'm talking to you as someone who has all his businesses in the southeast. So I'm not talking to you like someone who doesn't have anything. You spend Sunday resting. You are also spending Monday again too resting. This is the situation in our father's land today. So I'm sure, I don't want to come and tell you things you already know, but I'm sure you already know how much they said the Southeast has lost in the last 8 years. If we continue with the way we are going, economically, economics has only been our only strength. Politically, because Nigeria is a triplet country, West, North, and East. So our other two brothers have discovered that they can now go as far as they want to go without us, which is a problem, and I'm going to talk about that later. But the worst one now is that the only place where we had comparative advantage, the only thing that we could say, okay, this is our own, we are currently setting ourselves up to lose that singular thing. And I'm going to show you all. I'll show you everything with numbers. So, too many of our brightest minds today, the only thing they have to do when they graduate from the Southeast is to seek survival in Lagos or Abuja or abroad. And if this continues, just the way you saw in the 2023 election, the conversation right now on social media is that these people are invading us. They are invading the Southwest. That's why you see that in today's Lagos, somebody like the president couldn't even win in his own Lagos. So If we continue where every young person that graduates in Ndiigbo will feel that he has to leave to Abuja or Lagos to make it, that's a time bomb waiting to explode. As we all know, Nigeria may never heal from the wounds opened in the 2023 elections. And Ndiigbo must wake up to the realization before it's too late. Because at the end of everything happening in Nigeria, Ndiigbo will always be the casualty. We are always the victims at the end of the day. So, in Ndiigbo today, there is no government support for true entrepreneurship. It's either missing or it's politicized. I am 37 years old. I counted $1.8 million invested in the region. But you might be shocked that the governor of my state would prefer to host social media influencers who dance on TikTok than to host me who is bringing money to invest if I don't kiss his ass. This is the problem in Ndiigbo today. But as Ndiigbo, we know that these challenges are going to be there. I have talked about the insecurity, lack of government support, and everything. Our political class in Ndiigbo, sad to say, exception a few of them, we have the worst set since 1999. I blame all of them from 1999 to today, but it's like we have the worst set now. And I will tell you why these are the worst set. One of the reasons is because many of them, it's either their hands are tied by their personal ambition or by the enemies of Ndiigbo. So they cannot really do anything. You see them like what we call Abanaya, just sit down, look. You hear that your people are being flogged in Lagos or anywhere. A state governor will put a phone call across to the other governor. Okay, my brother, what is happening now? I'm hearing the story on the internet. What is happening with a serious government will put out a statement and say, yes, my people, what is, you understand? But you can't see that from any Southeast governor today. So many of them are actually your friends as you're seated here, because they always come here when they need you to support them. I see some of them come here, especially in Houston. They come there and they gather and you guys discuss with them. So please tell them the truth. Advise them to work for their people, because everything I have told you here is our reality back home. It's not looking bright. It's not looking promising. Ndiigbo is currently going through so much. But all hope is not lost. As Ndiigbo, we know that challenges are not the end. They are the raw material of opportunity. The generation of Ndiigbo that came out of the Igbo genocide, which many call the civil war today, they did it. And it is time again for the Igbo diaspora to rise up to the occasion. The Igbo diaspora is the only hope that our people have right now. Those of you that are sitting down here, I don't care your age. You are the only hope our people have. And I will tell you why you are the only hope. It is two reasons why you are the only hope. Number one reason is because you are in a working economy. And number two reason is because you have experienced a working economy and how it works. The average Nigerian in Nigeria, even if that person is 80 years old, has never seen a working Nigeria. When I started building my house in the village in 2022, I called my engineer. I said, you know where I live in Miami, right? Paramount, Miami. He said, yes. I said, I want that Miami standard. And he finished building the Miami standard. When I went to Enugu, I saw some of the Miami standard and I wanted to cry. And then my fiancé Ugoma called me and said, you asked him to build Miami Standard. Has he ever been to Miami? The person you are saying should build you Miami Standard, has he ever been to Miami? He has never been to Miami. So the reason why I'm saying that those of us in the diaspora are the last hope of Ndiigbo is because the average Nigerian in Nigeria, even if that person is 80 years old, that person has never seen a working Nigeria. He has never seen a working system. But those of you who are opportune, those of us who are opportune to live in America, we have seen how systems work. They talked about registering the Federal Credit Union for Ndiigbo. This whole Federal Credit Union is going to be registered and everything is going to be done to the last day without any need to have a secret meeting with anyone. We will not need to go see one Alhaji and have dinner or breakfast with the person at Transcorp and then wait till the person palm hand just to approve. If we do all the right thing, we will end up with a Federal Credit Union. This is a working system. God brought you here for a reason. So, why does rebuilding Ndiigbo matters? I have said here that there is problem back home. Ndiigbo is no longer the Ndiigbo you know. Some of you today, if you go to that Ndiigbo that you used to know, you're going to just drop your Ghana must go somewhere and start crying and say, is this Ndiigbo? Igbo people used to have this sacredness for blood. The Igbo man will never kill. If you read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, you see everything there by yourself. But it's no more like that. So the reason why rebuilding Ndiigbo matters is that if we do nothing, Ndiigbo risks being sidelined in Nigeria's economic future and history. Like I said, the other two major ethnic groups in Nigeria have discovered they can always form political alliances without the Southeast and still achieve their aims. And this is dangerous. This dangerous discovery and bad trajectory have been set since Buhari's administration and now Tinubu's own administration. The only place we still have a say is the economic fiber of Nigeria. But we have been rustled out of every other thing in Nigeria. As a region, we no longer have so much comparative advantage again. This is why I have been begging our people anywhere I go to. I say stop taking the small area of strength we have left to empower other regions. Bring your investment back home to Ndiigbo. Let's build our region and become the production hub of Nigeria. These and more are some of the challenges. But if we act with courage, vision, and unity, Ndiigbo can rise again as the beating heart of African innovation and enterprise. We have done it before after the Civil War. Ndiigbo rebuilt from nothing. We can do it again, but this time with global tools, technology, and diaspora strength. You, the Igbo diaspora, are our only hope. Now, I want to talk about the diaspora, the Igbo diaspora youth, the power of the Igbo diaspora youth. So yesterday, when I attended the first day session of the World Igbo Congress, I almost started crying as I looked around. I was asking, where is the next generation? Today, I am still asking, although today is better than yesterday. And the reason why I am still asking is, whether we like it or not, naturally, in the next, I want to just make it, but in the next 50 years, if we were to fast forward it and walk into this hall, I'm not wishing anyone bad, including me myself. I'm 37, so add 50 again to my years. If we were to walk into this hall again, maybe only 10 people will walk into this hall as we are all sitting down here. This is the reality. So yesterday I was asking myself, where is the next generation? And I'm still asking the same question today. We have few young people that are sitting down here. It scares me because our generation of Igbo fathers and mothers are slowly going away. How many of Ndiigbo who came here in the 60s, in the 70s and 80s, do you know that attended maybe the last World Igbo Congress or the last 30-something that may never attend again, that can't attend again? Let me not use the word may. They can't attend again. Once you exit this world, that is the end. How many of them you know? So there is a problem and there is a time bomb. Our generation of Igbo fathers and mothers are slowly going away. I repeat it again. There is an urgent need for the next generations of Ndiigbo, particularly those born in the United States, to rise up to the occasion. And I want to beg, dear parents, when attending important cultural events like the Igbo World Congress, don't leave your children at home. Encourage them to be here, because these are the people who are expected to host the 60th and the 100th editions of the World Igbo Congress. They might invite me here for the, let me say, they might invite me here. I don't know how long God keeps me again. They might invite me here, and that time I'm coming and I'm reminding them how Chief used to sit down here, how our royal fathers, and I'm telling them all these are stories that many of you today can tell about people that you came to the United States with in the 1960s, in the 1970s. So the reason why I'm saying when you're coming for events like this, encourage your children to come is so that they see. Sometimes I get scared. The reason I get scared is because how will the, let's say, 90-something edition of this World Igbo Congress look like? Who will pray over the kola nut?
In what language?
In what language? I get scared sometimes when I think these things, and I ask myself. So, you people that are sitting down here today are you are a very important generation. Many of you sitting down here today saw the Nigerian Biafran War. You witnessed it. You are telling the stories. Time is coming when we will not have any single person again that witnessed the Nigerian Biafran War. It will all be reading it in books. So I am challenging every Igbo youth. I'm going to post this video on YouTube. If you are an Igbo youth born in the United States, this is a big challenge to you. I am challenging you to get involved. Get involved, because World Igbo Congress is going to reach the 100th edition. And there is expectation on the next generation that are going to host it. So if we don't start learning now, what are we going to do? Who is going to say, okay, let's make it happen? Who is going to run around? So this is the best time to learn. The truth is, if you leave your own children at home, our father this way leave his own children at home, everybody is leaving his own children at home. At the end of the day, if God could open our eyes when we are whatever it is that we are after we die, we will look down and we will be carrying our hand on our head. Because the dots were not connected. The dots were not connected. So important cultural events like this, invite your children. Make arrangement for them to attend, especially your sons. Make arrangement for them to attend, even if they are just sitting down here and looking. People sometimes learn from looking. From just being in that environment, they learn. So, I want to talk about the size of the diaspora youth, because this video is for the Igbo diaspora youth. Today, we have over 10 million Igbos abroad, in Malaysia, in Germany, Congo, and all over of these places. We send back billions in remittance every year, but sadly, all we send home is mostly for consumption. Igbos send back so much money every year, but majority of the money we are sending is to help people to feed, to do this, to carry out consumption-related activities. We have failed to bring home wealth and development like the Chinese and the Indian diaspora. Most Igbo diaspora sitting here today have done nothing but build mansions in villages you rarely sleep in. Almost all of us here have mansions that are locked right now, somewhere in the southeast. This is something that we are very, very good at doing. So the Igbo diasporans, we have done nothing but build mansions that we rarely sleep in. So this is why when Chief Festus Okere called me, he's the president of the World Igbo Congress, when he invited me over for this event as a guest speaker, I was about to turn it down because I thought this is another Igbo diaspora talk and never do event. Talk. We've had different conferences. We've had different conferences where Ndiigbo come and sit and talk. Many of you are even tired of it. But something happened. Because I'm tired of such events. Like in the UK, they invited me for one. In New York, they are inviting me for another. Even in Malaysia and some other of these places. But I said to myself, when Chief mentioned that there is going to be the launch of the Igbo Credit Union, I instantly became interested again. Because I said to myself, maybe our people are ready to get it right this time. We are the only diaspora that hasn't made any efforts to make our homeland look like the places we have been privileged to live in. The Igbo diaspora, the African diaspora, are the only diaspora that has not really succeeded in bringing back the changes that they have seen. The Chinese, in the 1960s, 70s, and the rest, the Chinese looked to America like, oh, which kind of country is this? They come to New York and they see all those skyscrapers. Oh God, when? Today, Americans go to China for sightseeing. That's the power of a diaspora. And this happened in less than 50 years. The same time our people started coming here. But we've not seen this transformation anywhere in our place. So I said I wouldn't come for this event. But when Chief Okere told me that there's going to be a launch of Igbo Credit Union, I said, okay, I'm going to come. Because I believe this credit union will change things for Ndiigbo, especially those of us in America. And it will also inspire Igbos in other places like London, Malaysia, Germany, and the rest to join hands for a progressive Ali Igbo. In many of my public engagements, I have often argued that Ndiigbo are individually rich but collectively poor. And this being individually rich and collectively poor is the reason for our stagnation. Successful Igbo man, successful Igbo woman, successful Igbo man, but no successful Igbo people. No successful Igbo nation. We are individually rich, collectively poor. So, with the launch of this credit union, I believe that the World Igbo Congress may be positioning itself to change this shameful part of us. And I challenge every one of us here to work hand in hand with the World Igbo Congress to make this launch a success. Makananka bunkai. To every young Igbo person hearing this in the diaspora, unlike our parents who mainly sent money home for family upkeep and consumption, we have something more to offer. We have skills in tech, finance, medicine, arts, and businesses. There is rarely any hospital you're going to go to in this America that there is no one Igbo doctor. There's no big tech company or something that you're going to look from head to toe. There's no one successful Igbo person there. So we have the global exposure and networks. We have capital. This money we are sending home for consumption is actually capital. We might not have billions individually, but collectively we have enough to transform our Igbo. So the diaspora youth, I am expecting you to support the Federal Credit Union that World Igbo Congress is trying to set up. Because they are planting this for our own good. Most of the people in the World Igbo Congress organization are already old. There's not so much that they can benefit again from this credit union. But guess the people that will, when one of the speakers was talking, okay, I think it was the president talking, and he said something that your daughters or your sons will be able to have jobs. Because we will first employ our own before we start looking for others. So, if you're watching this video anywhere you're watching it, don't just say World Igbo Congress is for old people. Get involved. You are going to be those old people one day. And if you don't start learning it now, if you don't start getting involved now and understand how this thing works, people are going to just laugh at you. So to every young Igbo person, like I said, get involved. 11 years ago, I launched the biggest Igbo media company called Voice of the East. Many of you here know Voice of the East, but you didn't know I actually own Voice of the East. 11 years ago, I saw the need. I said, Igbo people need to start investing in media. Because we see that a whole lot. The reason why our story has been altered is because as a people, we didn't pay attention to how media works. Or even our people who invested in media, they were lackadaized about it. America is as great as people think about it from outside. It's because of media and storytelling.
That's right.
If you are outside America and you watch American film, from the beginning to the end, America is always the hero in the story. So everything is media programming. So I told myself, I said, I'm going to invest in media. So 11 years ago, I started Voice of the East. Voice of the East is NBC licensed. Has license for radio, has license for TV. Streaming 247 on YouTube. I also created the Kedu app. Many of you know the Kedu app. I also created an app called Kedu that is strictly for Ndiigbo. You can go now on stores now and download the app. The app has over 80,000 downloads. Every month, at least 10,000 Igbo people only log into that app to use the app and do a whole lot of things. Lastly, one of my most ambitious projects, because I'm a tech investor, blockchain, Bitcoin changed my life, and I said, okay, I'm going to create something called Tech City Africa, which is going to be the Silicon Valley of Africa. I want to build an estate where only tech people live and work in that estate. So I started a very ambitious project, which is going to be my lifetime legacy project. I don't know how many years I have left to live. But that project is the one that I want, as I'm exiting this world, if I have delivered it, then I will tell myself, I have tried. I lived a fulfilled life. I achieved the core purpose. So I started that project called Tech City Africa. My vision is to, because the reason I started that project is because Most of the young tech people in the Southeast, they are talented, but the environment, imagine somebody is doing remote job, the person has to depend on NEPA or have to go buy small generator. So I said, I'm going to build an estate where we use solar to power this estate, smart estate. There is 24 hours light. Give young people, put incubation hubs inside there. Young people will live there and they will work there. And that is my legacy project. I'm not here to raise money for the project. By God's grace, I'm going to get VCs and other investors involved in the project. So last year, I said, okay, one of the things about me is I hate explaining my ideas to people. So let me start so that you meet me on the way. Okay, you're already doing it. Yes, this is what I have done. Last year, I bought the land, 24 hectares of land. I didn't just buy the land alone, I fenced the whole land. I put the sandboard there. I paid a company over $30,000. I say, work on the 3D of the city for me. They did everything all. So I have that now. I have the land fenced. Now, I have reached out to the state government to get the CFO of the land. When I get it, I'll go to California and I'll talk to Silicon Valley investors. This is my vision. This is what I am trying to do. As God will have it, if I talk to 1,000 people, one day I'll meet one person that will say, this team, let's go see. So, all these things I'm telling you I'm doing in Igbo land, you may ask, where do you have all the money to do this? Well, I'm sure in America, yeah, almost everyone heard about Bitcoin. Before now, I always don't like mentioning something about Bitcoin until Donald Trump came and gave it legitimacy. Since you know Donald Trump, until he became president, he was worth around $2 billion US. From when he became president to today, that his company launched his own Trump business in crypto, he has added $6 billion extra on his net worth from when he became president. Donald Trump is the reason why Bitcoin went from, I think, $50,000 or $40,000 to where it's over $100,000. So if you go on your phone now and type first African to buy Bitcoin, it is your brother's picture that you're going to be seeing. So we have an industry where we now have something called first mover advantage. So I happened to buy my first Bitcoin in 2011 when it was just $35. So it's through that business that God has been blessing me, and I've been doing most of the things I've been doing. And with the way my business is, I can comfortably live in Miami where I live. Google Paramount Miami, I can comfortably live there and cross my leg, taking care of my two sons, Ikemba and Ohamadike, and just live comfortably and never care about whatever is happening in Nigeria or Ndiigbo. But I am saying, God bless me for a reason. It is for the sake of my people. So I am going to invest back there. Last year, my company, there is a startup in the Southeast called Mame Food. They produce spice. My company invested $100,000 in them. Now, the reason why I did that is because I want to tell these young entrepreneurs that are building in the Southeast, I want to show them that I believe in them. This opportunity nobody gave me when I was coming up. Like, I have my own idea and say, oh, see, this is my idea. Nobody puts money. I say, I want to give it to other people. This year, I'm still planning to invest more. So, I do all this investment to show our people that it is possible. So lastly, the question you might ask is, how can the diaspora help make Ndiigbo great again? So I will break down 5 key roles the diaspora play. And once I do that, I'll leave. Number 1 is capital investment. The Igbo diaspora must redirect our money from just buying houses in Lagos or Abuja to industries in the Southeast. We need to invest in agro industries, agro processing plants. We need to build factories, tech startups, and a whole lot of other things that you can research that we can actually do in the Southeast. We need to do something called skills transfer. Each of us in the diaspora, especially the young Igbo of American, the young Igbo Americans, those of you born here in America that are Igbos, you can mentor one Igbo youth every year. You can set up AI coding academy. You can mentor people in medicine. You can help more of our people get scholarship opportunities to come to the United States to study. You can look for opportunities here in America and gather like 2 or 3 or 4 persons in your community, in Imo State, in Abia State, or any other place in Igbo land, and help them to come here too and struggle like you. The third role is technology and innovation. We can build tech hubs in Enugu, Aba, Onitsha, Imo, Abakaliki, fund renewable energy, blockchain, and modern industries. I'll tell you something. 3 of the richest startups in Nigeria, founded by our brothers from Western Nigeria. Many of you know this one called Flutterwave. It's one of the payment gateways in Africa. It's a unicorn. Andela, many of you know. Those were people who were in the diaspora. They were in the UK. They went back and they said, what is the problem people are having here in Nigeria? Now let's create a business with it. So our young Igbo, successful Igbo people here born in America, nothing stops you from going back home to Ndiigbo and looking at some of the problems and creating solutions that will become multi-billion-dollar companies. Some of the American investors are saying Africa is the next destination. Do you know why they are saying Africa is the next destination? Where there is problem, there is money there. I was talking to one of my friends. I said the reason why I am always in Nigeria or in Ndiigbo is because I see problem and I see opportunities. There are certain kind of businesses I can't do again in the United States because they have solved that problem like 10 years ago. If I say I want to set up maybe a company that constructs roads, hunger might kill me in this United States. Because how many bad roads are here since I've been in this country? Maybe small pothole. There are so many things you cannot solve again in America and get paid. Because either somebody who is richer than you has already created that solution and will charge half for it. Or that problem, they already solved it like 20 years ago before you were born. So Africa is the next destination. There is nothing wrong if our young people look towards Africa to go create some of the solutions there and make money. I am already doing that. So I want everyone to picture this, whether you are going to be there or not. But picture 2055. If you can close your eyes, picture this, 2055, that is 30 years from now. Picture that Ndiigbo is no longer a region where people live to go build elsewhere. Just picture it in your mind that this thing that we have all individually been saying, that our people are making mistakes, that they should invest in Igbo land. Just picture it that our people, God finally touched their heart. And all of us, we said we are going to dedicate the next 10 years to aggressively invest in Igbo land. So picture if that happens. Picture how developed the Southeast is going to be in the next 30 years. Many of you that are sitting down here today, my fathers, the reason you're still in America, many of you had plans that by the time you're already reaching certain age that you're going to retire back to Ndiigbo and you're going to go back to the ways of your fathers. You're going to go back to your ancestral home and you rest until any time God calls you. But that is almost becoming impossible. So I want everyone, please. I want everyone, I don't want to say stand up, but if you can stand up, stand up. I want everyone to make this pledge with me. If you can stand up, stand up. If you cannot stand up, put your hand to your chest. Say, I will contribute my effort, my resources to make Ndiigbo great again. Mua ga-eti aka wee kwado ka Ndiigbo dị ebube ọzọ.
No, we need to check your hand, my brother. This is wonderful. This is so powerful.